So how many of you grew up with your parents telling you, don't eat at everybody's house, right? Or don't eat everybody's cooking, or maybe just don't eat at everybody's house. A lot of y'all, right? I was told that too. How many of y'all were told, don't drink, don't accept a drink from everybody or drink from everybody's house and stuff like that? Me too, right? But it was always in the sense of possibly somebody slipping you something, you know what I mean? Trying to do something to you in that way. Did you ever think it would be blood? Me neither. Me neither. Like reading the title of this video of somehow they missed blood everywhere, and it looks to be blood in like a water bottle container that could very well pass for grape juice or something like that, just is making me sick to my stomach. Oh, we gotta hear what's going on here.
How did they miss that?
Oh, wow.
How did they miss that?
I have no clue.
It smells. Oh, God.
Continuing into kitchen, we have what appears to be possible organs, bone, but at this time, Detective Diaz and myself are going to back out.
What does your gut tell you may have been or may be inside those toads in those buckets?
By September 25th of 2020, Eddie Joe Arteaga had been missing for an entire week. When Alamogordo, New Mexico police went to conduct a welfare check on Steven Gonzalez, they had no idea that the two cases could be connected, and much less that they would be walking into a gruesome crime scene. Shockingly so, they remained unaware of that fact for the duration of their visit to the residence. It wasn't until a follow-up call from Steven's family was received that police realized just how appalling the situation was.
Steven, just come to the door, please. Steven, everything will be okay. Steven, Steven. Steven, just answer the door.
The woman attempting to coax Steven out is his mother, who arrived on scene with his sister. Officers have been attempting to get his attention for at least an hour, but even his mother has no luck, and the officers are forced to consider their other options as the level of concern for Steven's safety continues to increase.
I'm not liking the clicking sound. I don't know what it is. If he's got drugs in there, would he be trying to commit that way? Because he kept saying, whoever he was talking to, he kept telling them, just remember this. You're putting people's lives in jeopardy. Just remember this. Just remember this. That's kept saying that.
Right.
So I guess he figured somebody turned him in, and he called in. And
I guess he might, but I've never known Steven to be so cool.
no, okay.
And I've supervised him before.
Okay. So the first time I knocked really hard, he was like, you hear that? That's on you. So I don't know what's going through his mind right now, but I'm not liking it.
Yeah, no. And he's volatile. I don't trust him. One too many. He's got seriously.
Listen, I hope they got more officers than just them two. I'm always thinking about that. I don't even like how they're sitting here, like kind of lackadaisical. He could be inside, peeking out the window, pointing something at him through the window. They're just like too relaxed in this situation for me.
He's got brain damage anyways, but he's volatile.
The details of Steven's potential brain injury have remained confidential, but based on comments his family will later make, it's clear that he has a history of both behavioral and health issues. For now, though, the focus remains on trying to make contact with Steven in a way that keeps everyone safe. But the officers don't know that they're already far too late for that.
Hey, Steven, adult probation just wants to talk to you. You need to come to the door, though. Right now, it's not about arresting you. It's about talking to you. But the longer we stand out here, the more likely that a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Don't make it worse than what it is. They just want to talk to you.
Steven has a prior record with law enforcement. His previous charges include driving with a suspended license, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of a firearm by a felon. This record likely explains why probation officers are involved.
Steven, please, don't do this to us. Don't do it to yourself.
piece right there. Hey, Steven, come on out. You're good. You're good. Hey.
I'm trying to justify this. And
I can't reach him.
look at how much smoke that. Look, I'm not.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
Officer safety is paramount in these types of situations, and it's good practice to stand to the side of a door when making entry in case the person inside decides to go on the offensive. However, safety concerns quickly go downhill once officers get inside.
You're good. You're good, Steven. Can you talk to me?
Oh yes, sir.
Come on out here.
Can I show you my innocence? I want a fair trial because I told them the way you do this, they know how to stop it, they know how to block it, and they know how to, you know what I mean, stuff like that. I have barely learned how to, I thought I had finally got all off of me.
Got it. Okay.
And then I realized I was like, what happened to all the everything? Like a bunch of stuff was still going on, and it was
It just kind of messed it. Well, let's talk out here, okay? You're good.
Somebody make sense of whatever he just said. I'm so clueless, bro. Even that it had subtitles at the bottom, and I'm still like, huh?
Okay, you remember me? I've dealt with you. You've been good with me every time, okay? Can we talk out here?
It's better out here.
You're good, Steven. You're good?
But Stephen is not good, and the officers have no choice but to enter the residence. For reasons that will become obvious later, their intrusion makes Stephen even more agitated.
I'll take this trial and expose everything.
No. We're just talking to you right now, okay? That's why we're here. Can you step on
I
out?
barely learned how to stop that. Like,
Okay, will you step on out with us?
I look like
You're good. No, we're not worried about that, okay?
like this, man.
That's fine. That's fine.
In case you didn't catch that, Stephen just told his probation officer that he usually doesn't smoke meth like this. Glass pipe still in hand, surrounded by smoke, which is not a great way to avoid being arrested. Even though Stephen hasn't been read his rights at this point, this statement would likely be admissible in court. Stephen made his statement without being asked any questions, which categorizes his statement as spontaneous utterance. Additionally, no one requests that Stephen sets the pipe down to ensure the safety of everyone on the scene. It would be in the best interest of the officers to quickly remove all items from his hands and pockets, then clear the rest of the residence. Another concern is that there is a civilian on scene. Stephen's mother has not been escorted out or separated from the officers. It would not be uncommon for the civilian to join in and help Stephen if it ever came to a fight, which poses yet another safety risk to the officers.
Okay, is anybody else in the house?
She kept on interrupting me.
You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Like, can we step out?
Hey, no, I don't. I want to justify my stuff. Before you forget and you think I'm crazy, sir.
Steven,
Please.
Steven, I'm not
Let's open
thinking you're
the door,
crazy.
sir.
I don't think you're crazy. I don't think you're crazy. You're good. Yeah, that's Steven. You're good.
Can you close that door?
Yeah, we'll close it. We'll close it. We'll close it.
No, I want to prove my innocence. Okay,
Steven, you're good.
Look at that witchcraft.
As Stephen is being arrested and apparently expressing his concerns about being accused of witchcraft, the other officers on the scene make a cursory search of the premises. And when we say cursory, we really mean it.
I think they're not.
No, hey, y'all gotta watch me. Hey, y'all gonna let me, you better not kill me, dog. Hey, I'm not guilty of that. Why would I be? Hey, just keep talking.
While searching the master bedroom, the flashlight beam skims right past what appears to be a hacksaw before continuing on. In addition to the oversight, it's concerning that the officers don't announce that they're the police as they proceed into the trailer and make no commands for others in the residence to make themselves known and come out with their hands up. This is a very good way for the officer to get shot. If such an altercation were to occur, the homeowner could just say, "This guy just walked into my bedroom holding a gun and I shot him." In many states, the homeowner would be deemed justified.
We're not doing this. We're better this way, dog. We're better on the PD. I almost forgot, dog.
It's clear.
The totes and buckets found in the closets will be deemed critically important, but for now, they go unnoticed. What officers do find is a loaded firearm, along with more drugs and paraphernalia in Stephen's pockets and strewn about the living room. All of these items constitute violations of Stephen's parole, eliminating any question of whether or not he'll be arrested. You may be wondering why police are conducting a search without a warrant.
I was just about to ask, like, why are they searching now that they got him, right? What are they going through the house for? They cleared it, everything is good. What was making them continue to search the place? I know they done found the gun now, some drugs there, different things. Okay, cool. But what made them continue on until they went in the bins is what I know. Even without a warrant.
Stephen, along with most other offenders, are typically placed on what is called searchable parole or probation, meaning that warrants and probable cause are not needed for administrative searches of a probationer or their home. A warrantless search of a parolee only needs to be based on a condition, which the prisoner agreed to observe during the balance of his sentence. Often these conditions are written broadly and include terms like, shall not violate any laws or regulations. Therefore, it seems that in this situation, the in-depth search is legal. Not that it does much good, however. Police still manage to miss the vast majority of the evidence sitting in plain sight.
You understand, I'm innocent.
You know, I have to
and
check.
let me explain everything. My cousin has a history. Do not blame. I could explain for everything. I know they did some
Steven, drink some water
when I first got into this.
Drink some water first.
And I wanted to kill them, like with a passion. That's why I did not want to risk my life and let that happen again.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you did it.
And the stuff that you're gonna find in here, you're gonna think I'm looking very guilty. I'm just explaining. You know what I mean? So like, you know, like people are going on with their own lives. My bad. Excuse me.
If not you, who else?
Huh?
Who else?
Let me get some water and I can show you for myself.
Polydipsia, or increased thirst, can be a side effect of drug use, perhaps explaining Stephen's incessant requests for water throughout the arrest process. However, there is also a common theory that drinking an entire gallon of water before a drug test will allow a person to pass. Though it is possible to get a false negative on such a test, it's usually not this easy. Also of note is the fact that Stephen doesn't mention what he's trying to explain. Police probably think he's talking about his obvious drug use, but the truth is far darker.
So Jerry, I think you guys are gonna kill me, bro.
No.
That's the last thing we want.
Like, why did they let them bang on the window? You know what I mean?
Because
they gotta talk to you.
All you have to do
I
is
told them the
come to
only
door
way
and
to
talk
find the
them.
truth about is if you guys calm down. And she kept banging. I said, calm down, bang. And then they were running all over the place. And I was like, I'm not gonna risk my life in all these lives. Can you shut the door so I could show you?
Paranoia, like Stephen is showing here, is also a common sign of drug use. Although in this case, it'll eventually come out that Stephen really was trying to show police something horrifying. His concerns for his life, however, don't appear to be based on reality.
All right, yeah. Let's go talk to here, okay?
In the room?
Steven.
Privately out here.
No, I have to show you because I am not.
Okay, talk.
Bro.
Come on, Steven. You're good. Let's just talk out here, okay?
While police are doing a good job de-escalating the situation, it would serve them best to promptly remove everyone from the scene. They clearly don't want to fight Stephen, and for good reason, considering the substances he's on. But the longer they spend at the house, the more potential danger they could face.
You won't regret it. I'm sorry. And it sounds so stupid. I have to smoke meth before it gets. Okay. I think it's before it gets too far because I barely learned how to. I guess you could say, control it. I need to explain this in court.
What is it exactly that you're trying to explain? Because you still haven't said.
That I am innocent because they kept on denying me. It's my fault. I panicked. But I had a gun to my head and I have PTSD.
Unfortunately, even when one of the officers directly questions what Stephen is talking about, he's in no state to give a comprehensible answer.
I'm thinking he's talking about what's in the bins. So soon as she asks him that, I'm thinking, okay, here it comes. Here comes he's about to be out with it, the confession. But he's still talking about, like, I am so confused with this guy, bro. Like, y'all, hey, man, if you ever need to show your kids a reason to stay off of that stuff, here's one, man. Here's one right here. You cannot comprehend him at all.
As a result, they take Stephen away, blissfully unaware that their colleagues would soon be summoned to the house again, this time under markedly worse circumstances. It was determined that Stephen was too high to go straight to booking, so he was first assessed at the hospital. He had high blood pressure and an increased temperature, which can both be symptoms of drug use. He also spent a decent amount of time seemingly talking to himself, but despite this and an apparent injury to his knee, he was deemed in suitable condition to be placed under arrest. Police likely thought the case was closed, but just a few hours later they received a distraught call from Stephen's family requesting they return.
You remember me from earlier? Okay. What's going on? Hi, singer. Oh, puppy dog.
How did they miss that?
Oh, wow.
How did they miss that?
I have no clue.
I don't know.
Somebody need to show me some earlier footage, because I didn't even think to look. Because somebody can make the argument and say, okay, well, his family might have put that in there. They could have, once the police left, they could have put that in there, right? So they need to go back and look at some old footage and see did their cameras catch that sitting over there.
It smells. Oh, God. It's blood.
It looks like it.
It smells like it.
Well, let me call.
Oh, you gonna call?
I'm gonna call Sergeant real quick.
The question of how the police missed the two very obvious jugs of blood on the counter is a good one. The question.
That's what I wanted to see. Old footage. Cool. Now you can establish that there ain't nobody does. He did it. You know what I mean? Or some kind of way it was, but it was there when they walked in there. So, okay. That's what I wanted to see.
The question of why the blood is being kept in a jug and a bottle is yet to be answered, though the implication could be stomach-churning. The officer goes outside to privately speak with his sergeant, which is the right thing to do, but he should have removed everyone, especially family members, from the scene before stepping out. As a result of having left family members unattended inside the residence, the scene is not secure and will become increasingly difficult to prosecute.
Well, there's quite a bit of blood in the jugs.
The judge?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. What do you think?
Contact Rodney. Down at the missing person. There's a missing person, everything else.
In case you missed it, the sergeant just said he didn't know what to do. A sergeant should never think out loud like this, as it doesn't show much leadership when the leader says, I don't know what to do. Additionally, the sergeant should be responding to the scene immediately. Back inside, another officer arrives to supervise the family members, but he also appears to struggle with the protocols intended to keep a scene secure.
I don't understand how they missed that. It was like right there on the counter.
That's where it was sitting the whole time?
I looked at it and I was like, this is weird or something. We didn't have like, but we can't smell it.
But it definitely looks like blood to me.
Oh, they screwing this whole crime scene up, bro. He might not even get charged with this. They messing this whole, they touching, moving items out. Like, they doing a lot right now.
Okay.
Shockingly, the officer continues to allow Stephen's sister to handle the evidence, while his mother and grandmother move about the residence. Even though the sister is wearing gloves, that evidence can almost certainly be considered contaminated now. The family should have been removed immediately, as they have every reason to try to contaminate the scene to help Stephen's case. Even the officers themselves shouldn't be inside at this point. At the very least, they should not be touching anything. So far, this is exactly how not to handle a scene.
Have you guys been in here cleaning, or what was going on? I opened up here for you.
It was trash. There was glass on the floor. That's all we picked up. I mean, all the bags are outside. We didn't throw anything away, but we moved the glass out of the way. There was glass table is broken. Your mom, what? Your mom.
Down there? It doesn't look like it. Looks like the.
That's not good.
That maybe. I didn't see under the vent.
I already opened it.
Okay. Well, if you can leave that like that, just leave it open like that. Because we're going to have to take pictures of all of this. Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm just saying that right now. I see that right here.
Is it gel?
Smell it.
Oh, I understand. Most of the time, I understand. I was just asking if it gelled up like blood when it coagulates.
It does?
Yeah.
So maybe it's not?
So that's what I'm going to check. So.
What do you see?
It's hard to tell, but it looks like there's some kind of a formed clump in there.
Now the officer is actively contaminating evidence himself instead of passively allowing it to happen. DNA and trace evidence have certainly been transferred left and right. A defense attorney would be able to destroy the case in court. But despite the mishandling of the scene and the shock value of what is discovered, semi-coagulated blood in a water bottle is far from the worst thing that will be discovered in Stephen's house.
Yeah, if that's blood, that's a lot, yeah.
And he started cleaning up a little bit, and I noticed that, and then I just noticed that, and then I could show you something else.
Oh, yeah, that's...
And then look, I don't know if it is, but I can't open that. I can't.
Oh, yeah, let's not touch that, because there's...
I don't know what is happening here.
I see it. Did you go back there?
I've not been back here. As far as I can go, it's right here.
Oh, the cups is back there.
Go to the back corner. Over here. There's a plastic tarp and buckets with blood on them.
Clearly, the contents of the plastic totes are disturbing, enough to rattle the officer as well as Stephen's sister, because he finally mentions that they should stop touching the evidence. Not that he enforces the suggestion, though. But if there is something so obviously concerning about the bins, it raises the question of how they were overlooked by the first round of police. Then again, if they failed to notice a jug of blood in plain sight, it's not exactly surprising that they weren't interested in the totes. For now, the police leave the plastic bins and buckets alone, likely to preserve whatever evidence remains after the family cleaned and multiple officers tromped through the house. But before a team arrives to inspect the contents, officers are in for yet another surprise. While this one is less gory, it's no less concerning. A wallet containing an ID and credit cards belonging to Eddie Joe Arteaga is found on the table in Stephen's house. Eddie Joe had been reported missing a few days prior by a cousin who claimed he'd not been heard from since September 18th. Note that Stephen's mother places the wallet on the table to be photographed. It should have been documented where it was found in the residence, not moved to a different location. As a result, we'll likely never know exactly where the wallet was found, which could seriously impact the validity of the evidence. Stephen's cousin shared that Eddie Joe had recently been hit by a semi-truck and received critical injuries, including severed fingers and a broken pelvis. Since that time, she stated, he hadn't been the same, and she suspected he'd started using drugs to cope. She was worried he might have done something to harm himself. However, the presence of blood in Eddie Joe's wallet in Stephen's house present a potential alternate reason why Eddie Joe had fallen out of contact. Along with whatever will soon be found in the totes, the situation looks grim. And it only gets worse.
You know, we have a lot of family to answer to. Everybody's been looking for my nephew, and...
Was that what?
Where did this take place again? It was Mexico, right? All right. Yeah. Just remind me of that. I'm gonna keep that in the back of my mind, bro, because something happening to you over there. Good luck getting somebody prosecuted, because they gonna destroy the crime scene, bro. Your case, pretty much out the window.
What the original call out here earlier was?
I can't believe he would do that. No, I don't want to believe it. How did they miss that? We haven't touched it.
I wasn't here. I don't know how they got through their stuff earlier.
My brother, I don't see anything he would be capable of doing this. I just can't.
So this is your brother and nephew that were here?
My brother and my cousin.
And your cousin? Okay. So your brother got arrested today? Okay, and your cousin is missing. Okay.
In a twist police likely never predicted, they learned that Eddie Joe and Stephen are cousins. Stephen's mother is Eddie Joe's aunt, and she and Stephen's sister have spent the past few days looking for their missing family member.
When's last time
Camera recording started.
you were seen from?
Saturday.
On Saturday? Okay, was that here?
That's what somebody said. They dropped him off.
Okay.
I seen him here on Friday.
You saw Eddie here on Friday? Okay. So a week ago? A week ago today?
And when we came here on Monday, we noticed that his bag was on the couch.
Okay.
Listen, man, I ain't trying to accuse nobody of nothing, but who's to say they're not all involved? Like, you gotta look at it from all angles. Cops didn't find it. They made sure it was pointed out. They found the blood on the chair. They found the blood in the vent. They've been like pointing out different things. Not saying I'm accused. I'm just saying they need to make sure. Like, this case is already messed up as it is.
And his girlfriend, everybody started looking, wondering why hasn't he contacted nobody.
Yeah.
Police were able to confirm that a different one of Eddie Joe's cousins had dropped him off with Stephen on the previous Friday or the Saturday that followed, just a handful of days before he was reported missing.
So when you dropped Eddie off, did you go in with him? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you just dropped him off there.
Him, Steven.
Oh, it's that bad.
Like, I can't explain it, man, but like, he's just liable to flip out, you know what I mean?
Over the few days that follow, police are able to speak with more members of the family, and they learn more about both Stephen and Eddie. Though they attempt to question Stephen himself, confronting him about the disturbing contents of his house, he declines to answer without a lawyer present. Still, his family has some telling information to share. Perhaps some of the most interesting stories come from one of Stephen's aunts.
Stephen's just like that one. Nobody really trusts him. Nobody really wants to around. And I thought, I always told her, how come you don't get him help? She was like, you try to get him help. She was, I'm not even, I can't. She was scared of him. Marty was scared of Stephen. But I used to think, how come you didn't get him help when he was younger? He stabbed his sister in the leg.
Stephen did?
A long time ago. You know, he chased me with the knife a long time ago. You know, there is violence, but ever since then back then, I would tell her, give him some help. You know, give him some help. He needs help. I don't want to believe Stephen killed Eddie Joe, but I wouldn't trust him. If he has.
So you don't want to believe it, but on the same term, you have your opinion that Stephen could have.
And if they were high, that's even worse.
We know for a fact that Stephen had recently been high, and if what his aunt is saying is true, perhaps the drugs pushed him over the edge and caused him to do something terrible. His sister is able to provide some additional insight.
So you're saying that he's been doing really good, meaning everything has seemed pretty normal, pretty chill, up until the last few weeks?
Well, yeah, pretty much, but like, aside from his mental illness. This is what I'm talking about when I say mental illness, okay? Stephen, I could take him to the store, and he'll go into the store like 3 times to get one thing. And he'll stay there. Like, I even recorded him because I was like, this is so sad, you know? And he's like, oh, I forgot I was in there for 12 people. And he's like, oh, I need ice. And he stays in the store, and he'll just be looking like he can't remember.
Like he zones out almost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he zones out.
And is that a recent development, or?
It's gotten worse recently, to the point where, like, nobody wants to even give him a ride no more, because he takes like one trip to take him to do one, like run one errand will be like your whole afternoon.
It's unclear how much of Stephen's struggles were a result of drug use or mental illness. The way his sister first describes his symptoms, it sounds like ADHD. However, methamphetamine use literally eats holes in your brain, like dementia, which also fits the symptoms described. It's entirely possible that everything described is related to his ongoing drug use. Lending credence to this theory is the fact that, according to Stephen's other sister, getting high only worsened Stephen's symptoms.
Well, Stephen's a good person too, and he's gotten better. But when he's high, I can tell. He starts looking around. He'll hear stuff, and like he'll be like stuff on him, and I can just tell when he's on meth. I just hate drugs. And sometimes Stephen would do them and he would be so paranoid, like saying he was possessed.
Notably, the behavior Stephen's sister describes is very reminiscent of how Stephen was acting during his arrest. The officers soon shift the conversation to the subject of her cousin Eddie Joe.
What's your fears? You talked a little bit about it earlier, whenever you were over there by the house.
My cousin's dead.
Why do you think that?
Because it's been a week and he hasn't called us.
Is that abnormal?
He would have called my sister or his girlfriend.
In addition to interviewing the family, investigators speak with a friend of Stephen's who came forward to share a rumor he heard. Note that he refers to someone named Shadow. This is Eddie Joe's nickname.
And a couple people that hang around with said that they were on post with Stephen and Shadow, and something happened. They got in an altercation or something, and one of them shot Shadow.
When this happened?
I don't know when, but they said that those two had left, and that Stephen was supposed to stay there and take care of it, he said, because that was his family.
While this theory isn't impossible, it doesn't appear that it was ever considered a significant lead. With a better understanding of Stephen's background and mental state, it was finally time for police to see what horrors were hidden in his closet.
Right. Entry into the living room.
Ooh, I know it's ripe in there. It's gotta smell. All the things that we know is in there and what we're suspecting is in there, it gotta be ripe inside that house, bro.
Backpack. Kitchen. Numerous handguns. Continuing into kitchen. Jug. What appears to be blood. There's the vent. Appears to be blood. Dried up on the bottom.
Near the blood-stained vent, the investigators also found blood on the kitchen chairs and door to the master bedroom. This was where the true horrors would be found, tucked away inside the plastic tubs. If the first set of police had looked just a little harder, they might have pieced together the sinister implications of the contents.
Right back into the bedroom. Notepad with black hacksaw. Razor blades. Sore. Lotion.
Though the investigator doesn't comment on the last item listed, this, combined with the presence of the blood and the saw, suggests a horrifying reason that Stephen might need a fridge ASAP. What they find next isn't going to soothe any of the rising concerns.
Multiple tubs. Not sure what that is at this point. Clothes. with what appears to be a bunch of net, blood, shoes, plastic bag here. Appears to be some sort of bone, unknown at this time just yet. At this time, we have what appears to be possible organs, bone, but at this time, Detective Diaz and myself are going to back out and await for the arrival of New Mexico State Police evidence team.
It was quickly determined that the buckets did, in fact, contain human remains. DNA results would take time, but to all involved, the answer seemed hauntingly obvious.
Does your gut tell you may have been or may be inside those toads in those buckets?
Tragically, she was right. In March of 2023, Stephen Gonzalez was found guilty of second-degree murder for killing his cousin Eddie Joe, among other charges. Eddie Joe had been shot once in the head, likely with the gun police discovered in Stephen's house, before being dismembered and decapitated. His head was found in one of the 5-gallon buckets, while the rest of his remains were distributed among the plastic totes. Because the murder took place during the peak COVID era, it took nearly 2 years for the case to be closed. Police never did determine a motive, but suspected Stephen's history of drug use and paranoia might have been factors.